Hello, Dolphins fans. It's been a busy week, and the atmosphere behind the scenes is heating up. NFL free agency is just around the corner, and the Miami Dolphins have some critical decisions to make. The front office, led by Chris Greer, will be looking to fill some major holes on the roster, with interior offensive line, safety, defensive line, edge cornerbacker, and off-ball linebacker being the top 5 positions of need. There are plenty of names on the market that could fit into Mike McDaniel's system. But which free agents make the most sense for the Dolphins? I'm going to show you some interesting points that you'll definitely want to know. Before you start, make sure you've already hit the like button, but only do that if you're a true Miami Dolphins fan. If possible, write something like, "Go Dolphins! I believe in you." Now, I want to know your opinion. Which of these players should come to the Miami Dolphins? Starting with the offensive line, Miami has its tackles and center locked in with Austin Jackson, Patrick Paul, and Aaron Brewer. But both guard positions are up for grabs, and this is where things get interesting. Will Fries, Mekhi Becton, James Daniels, Aaron Banks, and Patrick McCrary are some of the top names to watch. What stands out about these players? Their ability to fit into Mike McDaniel's zone blocking scheme. Quick speed, quickness to get to the second level, and run blocking efficiency, these are non-negotiables for Miami's system. James Daniels and Will Fries, despite their injury-shortened seasons last year, ranked first and second in zone run blocking according to Pro Football Focus. That's exactly the kind of production Miami needs in this scheme. If the Dolphins can sign one of them on a cheaper deal, somewhere between $4 million and $8 million per year, they could pair them with a higher-priced option like Aaron Banks or Mekhi Becton, who may command over $10 million annually. A realistic move would be signing Will Fries for left guard and Aaron Banks for right guard, giving the Dolphins a strong veteran duo to anchor the line. Now, let's talk about one of the biggest offseason questions, safety. With Miami unlikely to re-sign Javon Holland due to his projected price tag of $16 to $18 million per year, the Dolphins will need a new starter. The options? Julian Blackmon, Andre Cisco, Justin Reed, Talanoa Hufanga, and Jeremy Chinn. Blackmon and Cisco stand out as the best value options, projected to cost between $7 million and $9 million annually. Blackmon's coverage skills and Cisco's ability to stop the run could give Miami flexibility at the position. But if the Dolphins want to spend a little more, someone like Justin Reed or Talanoa Hufanga could bring veteran leadership and playmaking ability. And then there's the wild card, Trayvon Moehrig from the Las Vegas Raiders. He would be a more expensive option, possibly around $14 to $15 million per year, but Miami could see him as the ideal fit for new defensive coordinator Anthony Weaver's system. Moehrig has steadily improved in his 4 seasons since being drafted and could be a long-term answer at safety if Miami is willing to spend. Moving on to the defensive line, Jonathan Allen is the headline name after being released by the Washington Commanders. But is he realistic for Miami? The Dolphins are likely looking for more cost-effective options, and Calais Campbell remains a priority re-signing. The veteran lineman played in every game last season, logged significant snaps, and was effective against both the run and pass. If the Dolphins can bring him back, they may look for a complementary piece rather than a high-priced addition. 2 potential cost-effective targets? B.J. Hill and Sebastian Joseph Day. Both have proven to be solid contributors on the interior defensive line and would allow Miami to strengthen their front without breaking the bank. Campbell, paired with one of these veterans, would give Miami a steady presence next to Zach Sealer. The cornerback position is another crucial spot, especially after the release of Kendall Fuller. Right now, Miami's depth chart is thin, with only Jalen Ramsey and a mix of unproven players like Cam Smith, Ethan Bonner, and Storm Duck. That means the Dolphins must bring in a veteran. The top names on the market? Stephon Gilmore, Paulson Adebo, Christian Fulton, Dante Jackson, and Rasul Douglas. Adebo is likely the most expensive, commanding $12 to $13 million per year, but he's a young, talented corner from New Orleans who could provide stability opposite Ramsey. Gilmore, on the other hand, could be a bargain option if Miami waits a week or 2 into free agency. He could be signed on a 1-year, $6 to $7 million deal, bringing leadership and experience to the secondary. One major factor in Miami's decision-making at cornerback is Cam Smith. The former second-round pick has been a non-factor in his first 2 NFL seasons, and if the Dolphins don't believe he can step into a starting role, they may have to invest more heavily in free agency. If they do trust him, a cheaper veteran like Gilmore could be the route they take. And finally, let's address the backup quarterback situation. The Dolphins need insurance behind Tua Tagovailoa, and the free agent market is filled with options, but none of them are ideal. Marcus Mariota, Gardner Minshew, Carson Wentz, Mac Jones, and Tyler Huntley are the top available names. But let's be honest, if they were great quarterbacks, they wouldn't be backups. Out of those five, the Dolphins seem to have the most interest in Mariota and Huntley. Mariota's mobility and experience make him an intriguing fit, but Huntley has also been mentioned as a potential re-signing. However, if Miami wants a true insurance policy, Gardner Minshew may be the best option. He is arguably the most capable starter among the group, and with the Raiders expected to release him, he could be a perfect fit as Tua's backup. No matter what happens, Miami's approach to free agency will tell us a lot about their direction heading into the NFL draft. Will they fill major needs with veterans, or will they look to the draft for key contributors? And what do you think about these potential moves? Who is the one free agent you want the Dolphins to sign the most? Let me know in the comments. One of the biggest storylines to watch in free agency is how aggressive the Miami Dolphins are willing to be. The front office, led by Chris Greer, has been strategic with its spending in recent years, making calculated moves rather than splurging on big-name signings. But with clear holes on the roster and a limited amount of cap space, how will they prioritize their signings? Will they focus on value signings, or will they make a splash to solidify a key position? Let's talk about one of the most polarizing topics among Dolphins fans, the future of the offensive line. We already discussed the potential guard targets, but what about depth? Injuries have plagued Miami's line in recent years, and one of the most underrated needs is finding reliable backups. Patrick McCrary stands out as a name to watch because of his versatility. He could play every position on the offensive line and would provide Miami with a Swiss Army knife-type player who could step in at multiple spots if injuries strike. The challenge? McCrary could be looking for a multi-year deal in the $10 to $11 million range. Then there's the wild card move. Would Miami consider bringing in a veteran left tackle? Terron Armstead is still on the roster, but his health has been a major concern. If the Dolphins want to protect themselves, they could sign someone like Donovan Smith or Charles Leno Jr. as an insurance policy. Both players have starting experience and could provide stability if Armstead misses time. However, signing a veteran tackle would take up cap space that could be allocated elsewhere, so it's something Miami will have to weigh carefully. Another position that could see an under-the-radar signing is tight end. The Dolphins don't have a major need at the position, but adding a blocking tight end could be beneficial for their run game. A name to watch? Marcedes Lewis. At 39 years old, he's not going to be a dynamic receiving threat, but his blocking ability is still elite. If Miami wants a cheap veteran who can help open up running lanes, Lewis will be a great addition. Let's shift back to the defensive side of the ball because there's another big question mark. Who will be the Dolphins' defensive leader in 2025? Last season, the team leaned on guys like Zach Sealer, Jalen Phillips, and Javon Holland. But with Holland likely departing in free agency and Phillips recovering from injury, the Dolphins could look to add a veteran presence. That's where a player like Calais Campbell becomes even more valuable. Finally, the biggest question of all, will the Dolphins go all in this offseason? With a roster built to win now, the pressure is on. If Miami makes the right moves in free agency, they could be primed for a deep playoff run. But if they miss on key signings, they risk taking a step backward in a highly competitive AFC. Dolphins fans, what do you think? Should Miami prioritize the offensive line, or should they spend big on a defensive playmaker? Is there a free agent you absolutely want to see in a Dolphins uniform? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and let's keep this conversation going.